Anyone who comments on this video or any other posts that this was my mum's idea, you will be blocked immediately by me personally.
Hi guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So this is actually quite a quick turnaround video. Actually really quick. There was this family that you guys really wanted me to talk about. I believe that they were from Finland originally and now they live in Australia, is that right? I'm sure that in this video with this family there's quite a lot of different pieces to piece together, and I've only really heard about them for the past week. I went away and I did like tons of reading as a Reddit thread dedicated to them. I watched quite a few of their videos. I watched other people's videos on them. So I've got like a vague idea and I've got enough for me to just talk about and just introduce you to this family. There's so many different, like I say, there's just so many different things that are going into this family. I think they are above and beyond like strange. I think there's like some serious issues going on within this family. The most sort of notorious thing that this family are known for is back in 2021, one of their kids actually sort of, they say ran away, it wasn't really running away, went and got married to this Filipino man. And ever since then, she's then come back, she's pregnant, she's had a baby. There's been a lot of speculation as to how and why that happened.
I was the one who personally found this man, not my mum.
I'm gonna get into as much as I possibly can and as much as I've been able to actually shove into my brain. So I'm not saying that I know everything about this, because truth be told, I really don't. But I want to learn more about this family, and I'm sure a load of you guys in the comment section are going to help me out, because these guys have been around for a little while and there's just so much to try and compact into my brain whilst also maintaining some sort of sanity in my personal life. Learning as we go kind of thing. Where to start with this family? So number one, they used to live in Finland. They are quite a large family. They have very, I'm gonna say peculiar, because I think everyone names their kids different things, whatever, you know, some people are a little bit more out there than others, but I'll read you off some of the kids' names. I'm only going to read out their very first names just as like protecting privacy. They range from a different all different ages. Is called TAINA LICCIARDO TOIVOLA. I'm pretty sure that is how you say it. Like I say, my accent is blatantly terrible, but I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. So the main person that's in charge of the whole thing is TAINA, who's the mum. So there's quite a few of them. So there is Leonardo, there's Cleopatra, there's Jerusalem, there's Romeo, there is a name which I can't even pronounce, Dark Angel, Shakespeare, Nefertiti, King James, Aphrodite, and Omega. So these are the names. So like already, I'm never going to be able to remember any of them, one of which I can't even really say, which sounds absolutely awful, but I think I'd butcher it if I tried to say it. So extremely interesting names. Like I've already said, the mum sort of runs the ship here, and as we get further into this, you're going to realise why. Just on further inspection, so very first glance when I was told go look over. So the very first video that I actually ever came across, which solidified my reasonings to look further into it, was a video that they recently put out. One of their daughters, Cleopatra, has just had a baby and she was shaving her daughter's head, and I believe that her daughter is only a few months old, and she's there with a pair of clippers shaving the baby's head, and her reasoning to do so isn't religious, it isn't a sort of rite of passage, as you were. It was just because she didn't want the baby to grow a mullet.
Shaving her hair. Reason being, she has a mullet and I do not want her to have a mullet. As you can see in the top here, she has very short hair. In the middle it starts getting longer, and then at the back, really long.
It was for aesthetic reasons, and lots of people were pointing out in the comment section that the baby did look, I mean, I couldn't finish it the whole way through because the child was obviously in distress and the mum didn't really seem to care too much. The baby's head was like bobbling backwards and forwards. Anyway, so obviously I was like, what is the father of that child is the guy who we're going to get into shortly, who is the man who Cleo sort of like ran away to be with. There's extremely murky water. So all of them have lived in various different places. They've lived, they were in Finland, they then moved and they were in motorhomes. And now I do believe they live in Australia. I'm sure people are going to come and fill in the gaps there. I've read, I'm not quite sure where people are getting this from, but I've read that they don't even have beds where they are. Yet when you then go onto their YouTube, they get quite a decent amount of views. So one would assume that they would be able to afford sort of the more luxuries than they already have, if you see what I mean. I've read it in various different places that they don't even have a bed for the baby. Whether or not that is 100% true or not, I'm not entirely sure, but it's just something that I've read along the way. They are all color coded, so all of them have to wear white. If you've noticed, if you look back into quite a lot of their various different thumbnails, they all wear white. It's very much the mum show, so TAINA's very much in charge of everything. She's the one who runs the vlog. Who's the dad? I don't really know. I don't think I've really seen the dad at all, apart from in screenshots on the Reddit thread. I haven't really seen the dad all that much. So I can't really like pass comment on him whatsoever, but the mum is very much in charge of this whole entire thing. In fact, the very first vlog that I ever clicked on, she was making like cumin porridge, which might be a very nice thing. I've never tried it, but everything was very fit into the same aesthetic. They have a very sort of blanded beige, grey and white theme going on, and that even boils down to their plates. I mean, they're very, just watching it, it felt like it was very regimented in their household, and it does appear from the outside that the mum, like I say, is running the ship. Even went into like a Build-A-Bear type of situation quite recently, and they were all just picked out white teddy bears, all of them, all of the little kids. They had the white teddy bears with the matching outfits, and I can't help but feel like that is drilled into them. I mean, what child would go into a Build-A-Bear and pick the exact same one as all their siblings? And it was all a white teddy. All of it is white, all of it is, you know, bland. I don't want to say bland because you guys might really like white teddy bears, but do you see what I mean? There were so many other different ones, and all of them, what are the chances? I don't think that just from an outsider's perspective, it doesn't look like the kids really get a lot of say in really anything that goes on in that house. I'm pretty sure they are homeschooled as well, which homeschooling, I'm not dissing homeschooling, I'm just saying that a lot of these family vloggers try and homeschool their kids or homeschool. We had it with FamFizz, whatever they're called. The Ingham family do it as well. The LeBrants do it as well a little bit with their oldest daughter. And it's a way of being able to have your kids constantly around so that you can film.
I do want to say as well is that they have had several videos even recently detailing the fact that their kids have suffered like broken bones, broken whatevers, which yeah, kids break things and stuff, but yeah, I don't know, it's weird. You know, you guys know how I feel about people documenting their hospital visits, but yeah, just kids breaking their fingers and whatnot, which, you know, you have 10 kids or whatever, that's bound to happen, but I did just find it slightly interesting.
I do also believe that one of their eldest as well, I'm not quite sure on names, one of the eldest has actually recently gone away and moved off with his wife, I think, or are they engaged? They've moved away and there's apparently some turmoil going on. So it was 2021, I believe, when Cleopatra went and got married, and the name of the person who I'm going to use, I'm going to just abbreviate it down to JJ, because whenever I have read anything or watched anything, it's always interview with JJJ something. So that is just the way I'm going to go. I'm going to call him JJ for this little installment because I feel like it will be a hell of a lot easier. This whole air of mystery with one of the eldest daughters, who now is the one with the baby. She basically disappeared, if so out of nowhere, from YouTube. And there has been some periods where people would ask, where's Cleo, where's Cleopatra? And TAINA, the mum, would say jokingly like, oh, maybe she's dead, da, 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 da. Like a little bit strange, a little bit sinister. Obviously I wasn't watching them back then, so there may have been slightly more to the story than that, but the girl went away and she ended up marrying in Vegas and ended up coming back pregnant with JJ's baby. All the time that they then got back, JJ was doing interviews And the only interviews that I can find is of this girl, once again, I've got zero idea who she is, who was basically doing an interview with JJ and was asking him questions about stuff that had gone on.
Even before we met, they want us to get married over the phone.
Ew.
She messaged me, and then I told her that I'm not sure about marrying you. I just met you and stuff. And then she was crying to me on the phone, went outside to talk to me and tell me that she has all these children and stuff, and her mom is pretty much making her the child care person.
Yeah, she's the nanny basically.
Yeah.
And she's tired of being the nanny.
That she cleans the house.
He doesn't know what to do, so he's sending her back to go and live with her mum, even though her mum is abusive and evil and all of this kind of stuff. And instantly people were then pretty surprised and confused by the whole thing, as you obviously would be. Stuff that's then come out as well with him actually, you know, back in that time period, actually posting pictures, like indecent images, which he vehemently denies ever happening, ended up sending out pictures, imagery, that kind of imagery of Cleo. JJ was also saying all of this absolutely crazy stuff as well, like apparently the mum had actually reached out to him and he had absolutely no idea who they were, but she kept on asking him about all of this land.
Mom talked to me saying that Jerusalem has been looking for the land by the beach, and Jerusalem found it already, and it's $2.7 million.
And she's expecting you to buy it all for her. And
she wants me to buy it because by the time she already saw how much money I have in the bank.
Of course.
So she pretty much want to max out everything, and the thing that she said that if you buy the land and you don't put it on my name and my husband's name,
yep,
Cleopatra's not going to live there.
And she basically reached out and said, God created Cleopatra just for you, come and marry my daughter, and all of this kind of stuff. There's been text messages and all of that have been circulating about, which have somewhat confirmed this. But as we're going to get into it, like, JJ's a bit of a sketchy character, so just take every single thing that you hear with a pinch of salt. Apparently, she was extremely insistent on the fact that he should marry Cleo, because by the looks of it, he was being all macho about how much money he earned, bearing in mind he'd never met Cleo before. Cleo didn't know who he was, and the mum was trying to orchestrate this whole thing happening. In my eyes, I think she was trying to orchestrate this whole thing happening because she saw that JJ sort of had money and all of this kind of stuff. And as we're going to get into it, was that a lie? It's all a little bit skeptical. He was saying that Cleopatra didn't want anything to do with her mum, and that she was, you know, sick and tired of being the nanny to all of the kids, and that she constantly has to wear earpieces just to drown out just the chaos and stuff that goes on around her, you know, being in a family channel and stuff, and that Cleopatra was really trying to run away from her mum. Did actually go out, the family, I don't know how many of them, including the mum, did actually go out and see JJ when they first met, you know, trying to get them wed, and weirdly enough, they did. I'm not quite sure if all this is documented, by the way. This is just going off of what JJ said in an interview, which, like I say, take it with a pinch of salt, because everything in this family story just seems to be allegedly this, so it's very much alleged. Just from what you can sort of think about this mum controlling the narrative anyway, it sounds like a part of it could be true, but yeah. Fast forward then, Cleo then coming back home. Cleo actually made a whole video that has recently been deleted, which was earlier on this year, which was only a couple of months ago.
One day, I got to go to a birthday party where his family members were. And he left me unsupervised with his family. And guess what I did? I went to his relative and was like, hey, guess what? This has happened. And they said, oh, we knew he had problems. And I told his relative, help me. And they did. They took me and I got to stay at their house for a little while.
She was basically saying that she was emotionally abused, and there was loads of nasty stuff that went on behind the scene, potentially the R word as well. All of this really nasty, murky things. During this video, I do want to point out that she's like nervous laughing, and I think when people undergo trauma, that is their natural response. It did seem like her mum was either behind the camera or quite close to it, sort of monitoring what she was saying. Cleopatra seemed like in that moment, she then seemed like a little girl. She seemed very timid and worried and all of this, and she was basically saying like, no, he catfished me, so and I went out there and he wasn't anything like he said he was going to be, which then doesn't match up with JJ's story, because JJ was basically saying that the mum reached out to him and said, God created Cleopatra just for you and all of this.
Lied to me about his age and basically everything else about him. It's like, you know how you find out something and it's like, my life's a lie?
Cleopatra was adamant that she was manipulated and coerced into doing this. And the thing is, just from looking at just everyone in this situation, I think Cleopatra in this situation, and this is just my own opinion, comes across as the victim. Because if you think about it, if JJ's story is even partly true, then you've then got a mum who was basically trying to not auction off her daughter, but try and get her to leave the family home because she thinks that this other man has money, which actually, it is auctioning off. Then again, there's a lot of things that will then fault JJ as well. So for instance, JJ has basically been saying that he's a comedian, and then one minute he's a comedian, the next minute he works for Disney, the next minute he does music, the next minute he does something else, and there's no evidence to back any of this stuff up. There's a Facebook group for it, and part of the Facebook group's mod rules, I'm not actually allowed to screenshot certain things from there. But when I was reading it, there were all of these Q&A questions coming backwards and forwards where JJ had actually joined this group and was answering questions for a very short period of time. And he was saying in it, and I saw this with my own beady little eyes, he was saying that apparently all of his comedy gigs are completely sold out, and then other people were saying, yeah, but there's no history of anything that you've ever done. This whole macho, I make lots of money, a complete hoax to begin with. Does he even have a job? Was he lying on the internet first? Now she's now living back in Australia with her baby and her family. And you would have thought, oh, it's all over now. Oh, well, it's all over. I mean, it's not all over, and it sounds completely ridiculous, because it is completely ridiculous. Is anyone still with me? I'm just rambling off my own thoughts. We'll read off this one thing that he posted, the actual JJ guy, and this was literally a couple of days ago, so this now rounds it back to now. This is the way that he is now thinking about it. I don't even think they even mention anything to do with this anymore. I mean, I will always believe a victim when they come forward and they say, this is what happened to me. So I choose to believe what Cleopatra was saying, and the fact that she felt manipulated and abused and all of this other stuff happened to her. I'm not gonna go play by play into it. But when she was saying that, you know, I do believe that she is stuck in the middle between two very toxic people. Unfortunately, one of those people is her mum, and the other one is her baby's father, who by the looks of it isn't a very honest person anyway. I mean, I've been reading a lot of his answers to a lot of people's questions and stuff, and I was watching these interviews which were led by this god-awful interviewer. I don't know who it was, because you can find it on YouTube, the JJJ sort of highlights if you type it in. It's an awful interviewer, zero idea about who this person is, but it's very unprofessional. She kept on butting and arguing, and yeah, we can all think he's a piece of crap, but you need to do better skills at interviewing people. I've got no idea who that was. Go and watch those videos and you'll see exactly what I mean. I don't know, I can just smell bullcrap when I see it, and that is the kind of vibe that I get from him. But I will read to you this one bit that I did find. This was actually posted by him himself. So I will go reading this out, but I'm not going to read anything else out. I actually first found this over on the Reddit thread. I don't know why, but I did go through some posts here, and I want to say thank you to all supporters and for showing love to my daughter too. In Jesus' name, I didn't do anything wrong to Cleopatra and never brought her to Mexico because there would be records of us going in and out. Also, she lost her Finland passport in Lake Tahoe, and the Australian passport mum took with her back to Australia with them. When we were together, we loved each other way too much until I broke up with her and left her with my sister-in-law in San Diego. Yeah, there's also a video circulating around on him like breaking up with her or whatever, and this is another thing. He would like record her and record things in really weird moments, and now they're just getting like leaked to the internet. And it all just seems incredibly fishy on his behalf. So mad, and her anger and frustration made her read the script Mum wrote for her. But if we're to ask who are the purest and genuine in the family, it's Dad, Leonardo and Cleopatra. Yeah, I think what he's referring to is that video that I had to watch via Dad Challenge podcast because I think it had been completely deleted. Was this video where, like I say, she was sitting down and she said it's all lies and there's various different elements to it and talking about addressing the abuse and things. I'm posting the videos of that when she was crying when I was breaking up with her, probably with Dad podcast or with my own YouTube channel. He says this, but I've already seen some of those videos as well. So as we are in the process of planning what we're going to do. I will say that I hope, because I have seen a few of Dad Challenge podcast videos on them because there's literally no one else discussing it, and I needed to be able to actually see some of the deleted videos. And what I will say is that I don't think this guy needs any more of a platform than he's already being given. I mean, he's done interviews, bad interviews, but he's everywhere, and it seems like this guy is trying to claw back to some form of, he needs like some attention or something, but it's completely bizarre. And if the mum, TAINA, has done any videos or anything addressing anything, please let me know, because yeah, I would really like to see it. Cleopatra is an amazing, sweet woman, but I asked her to be back with her mum and family. I'm not a bad person. The only thing I lied about was my age. I wasn't 28. I'm actually 35 now, and mum is way younger than Dad, so that's not even the point. I love my daughter with all my heart, and I can't wait to be reunited and hug her and be there for her. I just want to point out as well that he allegedly has other kids as well. Allegedly, I'm pretty sure he did actually confirm that. He has other kids, and he has kids with loads of different women, which I'm not saying, like, obviously, sometimes situations don't work out, but I think with this character it kind of speaks volumes. But I won't do anything bad against my wife or my family, because whatever I do to them I also do to my daughter, and I want them to be happy, so my daughter is also happy. That's all I could say for now. I know you guys been watching my Snapchat. Who uses Snapchat now? And you guys know I've been busy with filming movies, TV shows, and doing my stand-up comedy. This is another thing. Where is the evidence to any of this? I've not seen one single bit. And I was reading his responses to people in the Facebook group, and I'm just like, I have seen nothing at all to do with any of this. So please, let's all just stay positive and project love. Thank you and God bless. Please come to my shows when I'm in your town and say hello. Please keep praying for us all and our beautiful daughter, for her to grow with love, joy and God in her heart. This is the thing, I think they are all Christian, and I think in this situation, and this may come across as me being a bit petty or whatever, but I think in this situation, a lot of these, when people mess up and stuff, they all of a sudden turn to this whole religious rhetoric that they all seem to do, and it's exactly what the whole family do as well. There are so many religious families out there, and I feel like whenever anything goes slightly tits up, they just start giving you this whole religious spiel. I'm not particularly a very religious person, so maybe that's just me coming across as quite biased towards it, but yeah, anyway, so there's some serious deflecting going on, but I just wanted to like completely catch you up to speed. Like I say, I'm not gonna like infringe on the Facebook group anymore because it does say not to do it, but I did get this screenshot from the Reddit thread. So what do you guys think of that? There's tons I've missed out, obviously, because I'm not like fully up to date and clued into the whole thing. So if any of you guys have any more information, or if you guys want to tell me more about the story and just literally enlighten me, then please do, because I was just working with whatever information was out there. But I just feel like this family is just super strange, like completely strange, and they're still going and acting as if absolutely nothing is happening. And I feel like the mum, yeah, I feel like after everything I've read and whatever, I feel like the mum has been a massive part in this whole situation. Trying to set your daughter up with people that you don't know who could potentially be rich or whatever, and getting them to move to a whole ass different country, I think it's really bizarre. I think it's ultra bizarre. But anyway, have a wonderful day wherever you are in this world. Take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and I'll catch up with you guys in the next video.